If you've fallen off your fitness routine this winter, this video is for you. And I know what you're thinking. Coach, I just need to get back to what I was doing before. But here's the thing. That's actually the wrong approach. Because what I'm about to share with you might feel like you're going backwards, but I promise you it's actually the fastest way to get back to your momentum. I learned the lesson the hard way with my own clients this winter. Most of them fell off during the holidays, and in January, I made a huge mistake as a coach. A mistake that made everything worse. So in this video, I'm going to share what I should have done differently, why going back to basics is not a setback, and exactly how to reset your momentum without feeling like you're starting from scratch. By the end of this video, you'll understand why the long way is always a shortcut. So let's dive in. I learned a big fucking lesson as a coach this winter. My expectation was to have all of my clients maintained during the holidays, and at best, a few of them did. But real talk, most of them fell off. So in January, I didn't want to change or add anything new or different to the daily habits that they were already working on before the holidays. The expectation was simply to just get back to it, get back into momentum. And this was a fucking mistake. And this presentation will explain to you why. Back to basics, the shortcut your ass didn't know you needed. So story time. This is the story of how my worst basketball nightmare came true. So when I first started playing basketball, I didn't know shit. I sucked. I didn't know how to dribble. I didn't know how to do any of that shit. And then I got some skills, and then I got a little bit better, and then I was just balling on these hoes. And then my worst basketball nightmare came true. I fucking tore my Achilles. For those of you that don't know, that's one of the top 2 worst injuries you can get in basketball. This thing put me out for 10 months. I had to have surgery, and I had to go back to basics. I'm not even talking about basketball. I had to go back and learn how to walk, how to run, how to jump, and then I got back into basketball. And by the time that happened, I was back balling faster than I was the very first time I ever learned how to play basketball. So that makes sense, right? You're balling, you have a big injury, you go back to basics. But what if I had done this? What if after getting hurt, I had just gone back to balling right away? Chances are, I would have gotten hurt again. And that would have probably made everything worse, not just physically, but also now emotionally, because I'm stuck on this cycle of trying to get back to doing what I want to do. And I keep getting hurt, and I'm just stuck in this rut. And let's be real, sometimes the emotional damage is worse than the actual physical injury. And this was my mistake as a coach for my clients this winter. You know, they started the program, they were getting their workouts on, they were doing good with the food login, they were crushing it. And then the fucking holidays. Womp, womp. And this is where I fucked it up. This is where the mistake happened. I had them just go right back to what they were doing before. And you guessed it, womp, womp. And now they're feeling like this. Yeah, they're frustrated. They're stuck in this rut. And when I was having these conversations when they got back from the holidays, I kind of had this gut feeling, like I knew it in my gut, but I didn't want to make them feel like they were going backwards. Okay. So I was like, I'm not going to change anything. I'm not going to add anything. Let's just get back onto it. Okay. Let's just get back into momentum. And it was just too much. They ended up falling back off, feeling like shit because they weren't winning. And here's what I should have done. I should have taken their asses way back to basics. And of course, by the time I brought this up to them, they were like, fuck that. No, I don't want to feel like I'm going backwards, coach. And I get it. I've been there. I get that. But here's what's actually going to happen. Similar to my basketball analogy, when I got hurt and went back to basics, and then I got back to balling faster, the same is going to be true for you. When you take your ass back to basics, you're going to get back to where you were at much faster. Not only that, you're going to feel like you're fucking winning again instead of feeling like shit because you're stuck in this rut. And you're going to learn the value of momentum. Before I got hurt, I used to not warm up. I used to not stretch. I was like, I'm good. And then I got hurt. After that, I was like, I'm not messing around with my warm up. I'm going to make sure I stretch because now I valued what it took for me to get back to that. And you're also going to learn the skill of gaining momentum because it's inevitable. At some point, you're going to fall off again. And getting into momentum again is a skill. So if you're struggling right now, pull up the daily habits that you're working on right now and decide if you need to go back to basics. Are you trying to get back to balling too soon? Do you need to take it back a little bit further into basics? And I want you to know that this is not a setback. It's a reset. You're not starting over. You're just going back to basics because the truth is that we don't need anything new. We need to go back to what we know works. Because what's the alternative? Give up? I don't think so. So acknowledge the oopsie and get your ass back to basics. Because I know that this seems like the shortcut, but I promise you, the long way is always a shortcut. Basics are the fastest way back to momentum. If you found this helpful, please make sure to subscribe. And if you're trying to be a happy, healthy homo, hit me up. Peace.